Week 3, he meets my friends. Maya, Dev, Sarah from work. Normal 26-year-olds doing normal things on a normal Thursday night. He fits in like he was made for it. That should have been impossible. The invitation happens Monday morning. Ethan is at his corner table with the Financial Times. I'm wiping down the espresso machine and thinking about how I still don't know his last name. 3 dates. First name only. Maya brings this up every single time I walk through our front door. So when I ask him if he wants to come to trivia night on Thursday, I'm testing something. Not consciously. Not with a plan. But people are different in groups. The careful performance he does for me, just me, in quiet restaurants and walks around lakes. That's one thing. A bar full of my friends asking him questions he hasn't prepared for? That's something else entirely. Trivia night, I say. Thursday, Ballard Beer Company. My friends will be there. He looks up from the paper. What time? No checking his calendar. No maybe. No, let me see if I'm free. Just, what time? 7. I'll be there. I go back to the espresso machine. He goes back to his paper, but I catch it. The smallest shift in his posture, shoulders dropping half an inch, the paper lifting slightly higher. He's nervous. Good. Thursday, 6:55 p.m. I'm standing outside Ballard Beer Company scanning the street because I got here early on purpose. I want to see him arrive. I want to watch the version of him that exists before he knows I'm looking. Maya is already inside, saving our usual table near the back. Dev texted that he's running late, which means he'll be exactly on time because Dev's version of late is other people's version of punctual. Sarah got off work at 6 and has been pre-gaming since 6:03. A BMW pulls into a spot half a block away. I watch him get out. He's wearing a dark sweater, not a button-down, not a blazer. The kind of sweater that says, I know how to dress, but I'm not trying to impress you. He reaches into the back seat and pulls out a pitcher. An actual pitcher. Clear glass, filled. He brought beer for the table. Not a bottle of wine. Not a 6-pack of something imported. A pitcher. From a brewery around the corner, based on the stamp on the glass. He spots me on the sidewalk. Doesn't wave, doesn't call out. Just changes direction mid-stride. Walks toward me. Steady. Unhurried. The streetlight catches his face and I see the jaw first. Then the focus. Like the sidewalk exists specifically to carry him to where I am. Hey. Hey. He holds up the pitcher. Is this enough? I didn't know how many people. There's 4 of us, plus you. 5 people, 1 pitcher. I'll get another one inside. Matter of fact. Already solved. Ready? I ask. Are they going to interrogate me? Maya will. The others are nicer. Good to know. We walk in. Ballard Beer Company on a Thursday smells like hops and ambition. The trivia host is setting up in the corner. The tables are filling with teams that take this way too seriously. Someone has brought a whiteboard. Maya sees us first. She's at the back table with a clear sightline to the entrance because Maya always sits where she can see who's coming. Same instinct as Ethan's corner tables. Different reason. She watches people professionally. He watches them for something else. You must be Ethan. She says it standing up. Full height, eye contact. Maya doesn't do the casual nice thing when she's evaluating someone. She does the I'm looking right at you thing. Maya, he says. Not a question. He knows her name. Because I've mentioned her. Because he remembers. Aria talks about you, Maya says. She talks about you too. I watch them measure each other. 2 seconds of direct eye contact. Maya searching for the flinch, the tell, the thing that will confirm her suspicions. Ethan holding steady. Not performing confidence. Just present. Maya breaks first. Not because she lost. Because she's satisfied. For now. Sit down, she says. We need a team name, and none of us have agreed. He sets the pitcher on the table, pours 4 glasses before pouring his own. Sits in the chair next to me, across from Maya. The chair puts his back to the wall. It does. Sarah arrives from the bathroom. Oh my God, you're real. She says this to Ethan. Last time I checked. Aria described you as interesting and refused to elaborate, which in Aria language means she's either falling in love or planning a murder. Could be both, I say. Ethan looks at me. One corner of his mouth moves. Not quite a smile. The fraction. The almost. Dev pushes through the front door at exactly 7:01, which for Dev is late. He's carrying a laptop bag he has no intention of opening and wearing a hoodie that costs more than most people's suits. Tech money dressed as broke student, Seattle's favorite disguise. Dev, Aria's friend. I work in software. He shakes Ethan's hand. Firm, brief, assessing. Ethan. Just Ethan. No qualifier, no job title, no last name. I wait for someone to ask. Nobody does. I watch Ethan take a sip of beer. He holds the glass the way he holds everything. Steady. Present. Like even the act of drinking requires his full attention. Maya is telling a story about a client who sent a press release with someone else's logo on it. Dev is doing something on his phone that looks like work but is probably a game. Sarah is waving at someone she knows at another table. Normal. All of it. Except Ethan, who sits perfectly still in the middle of it, like a man who has practiced being unremarkable. The trivia host picks up the microphone. Teams, write your names on the sheets. Maya shoves the sign-up sheet across the table to Ethan. New guy writes. He picks up the pen. What are we called? Last month, we were factually incorrect, Sarah says. The month before that, we were quiz on my face, Dev adds. Those are both terrible, Ethan says. We know, I say. That's the point. He writes something on the sheet and slides it to the center of the table. I lean over. Normal people. I look at him. He looks at me. After the Sally Rooney book? Sarah asks. After this table, Ethan says. Something about the way he says it. Like he means it. Like sitting at a table with 4 strangers drinking beer from a pitcher he carried down the sidewalk is exactly where he wants to be. Dev takes the sheet to the host. I watch him glance at the sign-up. He'll have to write normal people, and I know it'll make him cringe because Dev's team name last month was a binary code joke that nobody understood. The trivia starts. And this is where it gets interesting. Round 1 is pop culture. Ethan is useless. Not performatively useless. Not pretending to not know useless. Genuinely, completely, blank-faced useless. Which actor played the lead in the 2023 remake of The Hollow? Maya, Dev, Sarah, and I all say the answer simultaneously. Ethan looks at us like we've performed a magic trick. How do you all know that? Because we have televisions, Dev says. I have a television. Do you use it? He takes a sip of his beer. Not for movies. What do you use it for? Markets, news, documentaries. Dev stares at him. You watch documentaries, on purpose, for fun. Is that unusual? In this century, yes. The next pop culture question is about a reality show. 4 of us know the answer. Ethan writes a question mark on his notepad, an actual question mark, like the concept of reality television exists in a language he hasn't studied. Sarah leans over. Have you seen any show that aired after 2015? He thinks about it, genuinely considers the question. I watched a documentary about deep-sea mining last week. That doesn't count. It was compelling. It doesn't count. I watch Ethan process this. The genuine confusion about why anyone would find his viewing habits strange. Not performing ignorance. actually living in a world where knowing which actor played a remake lead is less important than whatever markets and news he watches instead. Round 2. Geography. The host asks about the capital of a country I've never heard of. Ethan writes the answer on our sheet before anyone else reacts. Ouagadougou, he says. We all stare. Burkina Faso, he adds, like that explains it. How do you know that? Maya asks. I've been there. You've been to Burkina Faso, Maya says. Not a question. A fact she's filing. For work. 2 words. Door closed. Moving on. Round 3. Science and nature. He's solid. Not extraordinary, but competent. Like someone who reads widely but doesn't specialize. Round 4. Business and economics. He answers every single question correctly without hesitating. Capital structures, merger, valuations, stock market history, like reading from a textbook he memorized for fun. You're in finance, Dev says, not asking, concluding, consulting. Right, consulting. The word sits differently in Dev's mouth than it does in Ethan's. When Ethan says consulting, it sounds like a door closing. When Dev repeats it, it sounds like he's checking whether the door is locked. Dev glances at me. The glance says, consulting is what people in finance say when they don't want to say finance. I catch it. File it. Round 5. Music. Ethan knows classical, knows jazz, doesn't know a single Taylor Swift song, which Sarah finds personally offensive. Not even Shake It Off, she says. I don't know what that is. You don't know Shake It Off. Should I? Sarah looks at me with an expression that communicates entire paragraphs. The expression says, this man is either from another planet or another tax bracket. We finish round 5 in second place. Ethan contributed the geography answers that no one else could have gotten and missed every pop culture question by a margin that suggests he hasn't consumed popular media since approximately 2012. Between rounds, I watch him. Not just him, I watch him with my friends. He listens more than he talks. When someone tells a story, he follows it, asks one question at exactly the right moment. The question that makes the story better. When Maya describes a client disaster at work, he asks about the media response, which launches her into the part of the story she actually wanted to tell. When Dev complains about a code review, Ethan asks what language. Dev says Python. Ethan nods like he knows what that means. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. The nod is calibrated perfectly. When Sarah talks about a rude customer at Grind, Ethan says, was it Karen? And the table erupts because I've told him about Karen. One name, one reference, and it lands like he's been part of our group for months. He's good at this. Too good. I've watched people move through groups my entire adult life. The overcompensators who laugh too loud, the quiet ones who disappear into their phones. I take a sip of beer, the charmers who make everything about themselves while pretending to make it about you. Ethan does none of those things. Not in a fake way, not in a politician way, pressing flesh and remembering names from a briefing, in a way that suggests he's done this before. Worked rooms, read people, understood exactly how much to give and how much to hold back. The question is where he learned it. Between rounds 6 and 7, I go to the bar for another pitcher. Maya follows. So? I say. She leans against the bar, crosses her arms, the evaluating face. He's careful, she says, in a good way, like he's thinking before he speaks. That's your read? Careful? Careful and present. He's not performing, or if he is, he's better at it than anyone I've ever seen. Comforting. It should be. Most guys perform badly. He either isn't performing or he's a professional. Either way, he's paying attention to you in a way that's hard to fake. The bartender hands me the pitcher. Maya picks up a bowl of pretzels. He still hasn't told you his last name, has he? It hasn't come up. It came up on the sign-up sheet and he wrote normal people. I stop walking. She's right. The sheet. He had to write a team name, but not his name. I think about it. I'll ask. Tonight? Tonight. We lose trivia by 3 points. The winning team has a guy who knows an unreasonable amount about 90s sitcoms, which is the round that buries us. Their team name is The One Where We Win Again. They've clearly done this before. Ethan looks genuinely annoyed at the loss, which is endearing in a way I didn't expect. We would have won if the history round was longer, he says. There was one history question, Dev says, and we got it right. Because you got it right. None of us knew who signed the Treaty of Tordesillas. Ethan shrugs. Ferdinand and Isabella. It's foundational. It's foundational, Dev repeats, looking at me. Your boyfriend thinks 15th century geopolitics is foundational. I catch the word, boyfriend. Dev said it casually, no emphasis, but Ethan's jaw does something. A micro movement. Not quite a clench, more like he's holding a word in his mouth, tasting it, deciding whether to swallow or spit. He doesn't correct it. We leave together, all 5 of us. The night has turned cold in that Seattle way where the temperature drops 10 degrees when you're not paying attention. Sarah wraps herself in her own jacket and starts complaining immediately. Dev pulls up his hood. Food truck on the corner, Maya says. The Korean one. General agreement. We walk. Ethan falls into step with the group, not next to me, next to Dev, talking about something I can't hear. Their voices are low. Dev laughs once, short and surprised. The way people laugh when someone says something unexpectedly smart. I hang back with Sarah. Okay, she says. He's good. Good how? Good like he looks at you like you're the only person in the room, even when there are 4 other people in the room. Even when Dev is talking about code and Maya is grilling him about his career, his eyes keep coming back to you. That's just what? Normal? Because no. Most guys look at their phones, or at other women, or at themselves in reflective surfaces. He looks at you, consistently, like you're the most interesting thing happening. I walk toward the food truck and think about the way Sarah said it, like you're the most interesting thing happening. And I think about the way he answered every economics question without hesitating, the way he knew about Burkina Faso, the way his eyes moved through the room, tracking everything. The food truck line is short. Dev orders for himself and Maya because they've been arguing about toppings for 3 blocks. Sarah gets a bulgogi bowl. Ethan asks me what I want. The spicy pork. Extra kimchi. He orders for both of us. Pays cash. Of course. We eat standing up in the parking lot, using a car hood as a table. Sarah's taken her shoes off because her feet hurt and the pavement is cold, but she doesn't care. Maya is showing Dev something on her phone. A video. They're laughing at it. Nobody is thinking about asset management or security protocols or how the man holding my food paid cash again from a wallet that never seems to run low. It's cold and loud and ordinary. 5 people eating Korean food in a parking lot. This is what normal looks like. Ethan hands me his jacket, not draped over my shoulders, not the cinematic gesture. He takes it off, holds it out, and waits for me to take it from his hand. I put it on. The lining is silk. The fabric is heavier than any jacket I've owned. There's no visible brand, but the stitching is the kind you have to look for. Small. Even. Done by someone who charges by the hour, not by the piece. This jacket costs money, not $20 vintage shop money. Real money. But it's old. Worn soft at the elbows. The collar shaped by years of being turned up against wind. He's had this jacket forever. Didn't buy it to impress anyone. Bought it because it's good and kept it because it works. I pull it tighter. It smells like him. Clean, warm. Something underneath that I can't name. Thanks. You looked cold. I was cold. Good. I'd feel foolish if you were warm and I was standing here in a sweater in November for no reason. I almost laugh. Almost. The group breaks up around 10. Sarah hugs everyone, including Ethan, which he handles with the surprised grace of someone who wasn't expecting physical contact. Dev shakes his hand again, firm, decided. Good to meet you, man. You too. Maya catches my eye over Ethan's shoulder. Nods once. The nod means acceptable, provisionally, pending further investigation. We walk to his car. Same BMW, same controlled interior, same playlist that shuffles between indie rock and something I now recognize as Ravel. He drives in comfortable silence for 3 blocks. Your friends are good people, he says. They are. Dev is sharper than he lets on. He's in tech. They're all like that. Look casual, think in systems. Maya is protective. That's her job. Has been since freshman year. He nods, quiet for a moment. Then, Sarah said something to you at the food truck. About me. I look at him. How did you know she said something about you? Your face changed. My face changed. He was standing 20 feet away, talking to Dev about something, and he noticed a shift in my expression caused by a conversation he couldn't hear. She said you look at me like I'm the only person in the room. He doesn't respond immediately. The car turns onto my street. The streetlights catch his profile in rhythm. Light, shadow, light. She's observant, he says. That's not a denial. It wasn't meant to be. He pulls up in front of my building, turns off the engine this time, gets out, walks around to my side, opens the door. We stand on the sidewalk, my building, his jacket still around my shoulders. I was nervous, he says. About what? Meeting them, wanting them to like me. Why? Because they're important to you, and I'm trying to be important to you. Trying. You were good tonight, I say. Good? You fit, with them, with all of it. The bad trivia names, and the parking lot food, and Sarah trying to explain Taylor Swift like it's a constitutional requirement. He looks at me. The streetlight cuts across his jaw. I wanted to fit. Most people don't try that hard. Most people don't have a reason to. Ethan. Yeah? What's your last name? 3 seconds of nothing. The kind of 3 seconds that have texture, where you can hear the absence of the answer before the answer arrives. Cross, he says. Ethan Cross. He says it simply. No wait, no pause between first and last. Like it's just a name and nothing more. Cross, I repeat. Is that okay? I didn't know your last name until just now. We've been on 3 dates. I know. That's not normal. I know that too. Then why didn't you tell me? He's quiet, looking at the sidewalk, then at me. Because once people know your whole name, they decide what it means. And I wanted you to decide what I mean first. That answer is either the most honest thing he's ever said or the most rehearsed. I can't tell, and not knowing which should bother me more than it does. Good night, Ethan Cross. Good night, Aria. He waits, same as always. Standing on the sidewalk while I walk to the door. Key in the lock. Door open. I turn. He lifts his hand, the acknowledgement, then walks to his car. I close the door and lean against it. Ethan Cross. I have a last name now. I pull out my phone, type it into the search bar, then stop. Not tonight. Tonight, I just want to sit with the way his name sounds in my mouth and the way he said it. Like it was something he was giving me. Something that costs more than he wanted to pay. I take the stairs instead of the elevator, his jacket still on, silk lining against my arms. The weight of something expensive that doesn't advertise itself. 3 flights. I count them the way I count his habits. trying to make a pattern out of pieces that don't quite connect. Maya is on the couch. Of course she is. Wine poured, television paused, the debrief position. So he's perfect, she says. I sit down, take the glass. Nobody's perfect. Exactly. So, what's wrong with him? I think about it. Really think. Not the surface answer. The real one. He's too good at groups. Too calibrated. Knew exactly when to talk and when to listen and when to ask the question that made someone feel heard. Nobody learns that from book clubs and dinner parties. You learn that from rooms where getting the read wrong has consequences. He knew the capital of Burkina Faso because he's been there. For work. Consulting work that also covers 15th century treaties and wine lists and economics questions. He answers faster than he answers basic pop culture. He has a jacket that costs a month of my rent, and he's worn it so long the elbows are soft. He noticed my face change from 20 feet away while talking to someone else. He told me his last name like it was a confession. I don't know yet, I tell Maya. That's not an answer. It's the only honest one I have. She studies me over her wine, the evaluating face. Then something softer. Concern, maybe. The version of Maya that doesn't treat everything like a press release. Dev said something on the way out. She says. What? He said, rich boy playing regular but not trying to hide it, just being regular. I turn that over. Rich boy playing regular. Dev said it casually, but Dev doesn't say things casually. He measures. He calculates. Like Ethan, but less carefully hidden. And what do you think, I ask? I think he was nervous about tonight. Genuinely nervous. Not performing nervous. He told me that. I know. I could see it. The way he poured everyone's beer before his own. The way he laughed at Sarah's jokes even when they weren't funny. He wanted us to like him. That's either sweet or strategic. It can be both. It can, but it's usually one. She finishes her wine. His last name is Cross, I say. Maya goes still. Ethan Cross. You asked him? Just now, on the sidewalk. And? He said it like it meant something, like giving me his name was different from just saying it. Maya picks up her phone. I can see her thumbs moving. Google, search bar. Don't, I say. She looks up. Not tonight, I say. Tomorrow. She puts the phone down, slowly, the way you put down a tool you really want to use. Tomorrow, she agrees. I nod, take my wine to my room, close the door, stand at the window. His car is still there, parked on the street below, engine off, interior light on. He's looking at his phone. From up here, 3 floors above, I can see his face in the screen glow. And for just a second, he looks different, not the careful man who poured beer for my friends and remembered Karen's name and said my name like punctuation. Something sharper, focused, the jaw set in a way I haven't seen in person, eyes moving across the screen with the kind of speed that means whatever he's reading matters more than anything that happened tonight. He puts the phone down, sits back, presses his palms against the steering wheel. Then, he starts the car and pulls away. I stand at the window holding his jacket that I forgot to return. Maya's voice from the other room. You still have his jacket, don't you? Yes. Convenient. I don't answer. I press my face into the collar. Silk and warmth and whatever he smells like underneath the composure. Ethan Cross. Nothing's wrong with him. That's what scares me.